So the story of Pests is about two women, Rolly and Pink, who are in their 20s, and Rolly has just left prison and she goes back to stay with Pink, and it's about kind of the struggle of returning home to the same circumstances that you left before you went into prison. The central themes all revolve around poverty, really. So it explores things that arise from vicious poverty, like addiction or mental health or neglect or being part of the care system and things like that. I was very conscious when I was writing it that I didn't want it to be voyeuristic and kind of poverty porn. I was very conscious of, you know, a middle-class audience watching poor people, and somehow the language I developed, it started off as kind of just colloquialisms and like a London dialect, and then I just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until they started speaking their own language, and somehow that felt less voyeuristic. I can't really explain it, but somehow it felt less voyeuristic in that way. View the world only as their world. Their world is their world. It's like all of us. Our world is our world, isn't it? And for some people, it's really hard to step beyond your own world. And for Rolly and Pest, it's practically impossible to go beyond their own little setup for all the reasons that poverty pushes them together. So Clean Break is a company that was originally set up by two prisoners in the 70s, I think, and it's a company that uses drama and creativity and works with offenders and ex-offenders and women at risk of offending. And so they do a lot of work in prisons, and they also have like an educational centre for women who have left prison, and they do drama work with them as well. And it's a really amazing organisation, and part of my commission was to go into prison. So you're commissioned and then you're asked to go into prisons and do writing residencies and writing workshops in prisons. So I've been into 6 prisons over the last 2 years, and a variety of different ones, and worked with different women in those prisons. And because you can't write about prison unless you've been in a prison, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, prison is a really hard. The experience of being a writer going to prison is a really difficult one to explain, because you're going in a kind of a capacity where you're bringing something really exciting into the place, and the creativity of the women in prison is really amazing, and it's quite a joyful experience for a few days for everybody involved. But ultimately, prison is really it's really horrific. It's the thing that I noticed about straight away that I hadn't really considered, which is really, I feel really sort of naive saying it, was that it's just full of poor women. It's full of women who suffer from poverty and the circumstances of poverty, and I was just so outraged by that when I saw it. And you look around a room of the women you're working with, and you can see immediately that you're amongst vulnerable people. You're not, you're with people that need to be taken care of, and prison doesn't do that. I think even at your most liberal, you don't understand prison. When you go into a prison and you look around the room of like 20 women, there are women with visible scars all over their arms. You know, and within seconds you see that, and like with cigarette burns on their arms, and you actually see the physical scars. You know, never mind the emotional, mental scars. You see the physical scars within seconds of being in a prison, and that's really horrifying. It's really exciting having the three-way co-production, because initially I was commissioned by Clean Break and I wrote the play and we didn't know where it was going to go, and then Manchester became involved and then the Royal Court became involved, and I really love Clean Break Theatre Company, I really love it, so the bigger audience that company can get, the better for me and for them.